Greetings everyone, Brett here, back with another 5-minute review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Airfix 148 scale Curtiss Tomahawk Mk.II. Now this is not a brand new kit, but it is a recent reissue of the kit with new markings. Now this kit has kindly been provided for this review by MRS Hobby Shop. Be sure to check them out at mrshobby.com. And we're grateful to them for letting us crack open this case and take a look at this kit. Now, I have built this kit before, not this boxing. I've built the previous boxing, which had the Pearl Harbor markings and the AVG markings, and I really like this kit. So this review is going to be slightly biased, but I'm going to try and do my best here. Overall, the kit is pretty typical for like modern Airfix. They've got their kind of like bluish gray plastic, but this one feels a little bit harder than, like, the plastic is a little bit harder than some of their other plastic options. So I feel like it is pretty nice to work with. The details in this kit are pretty decent, but I think what I respect most about this kit is the fact that comparing it to like actual scale plans of the aircraft, in 148 scale, this is the most accurate version of the early P40s that you can find. There are other kits that have There are other manufacturers that have 148 scale kits of this plane, but they always get something glaringly wrong, whether it's the depth of the cockpit or the overall shape and dimensions of the lower portion of the cowl and the wings. Something's always off. This one does it pretty good. I think the biggest thing that this kit suffers from is some unfortunately placed ejector pin marks. There are some in the cockpit, there's some in the wheel wells, and they're not necessarily like impossible to get rid of. They are just kind of a pain. It also doesn't have a lot of rivets, and I get that if that's not your thing, that's totally fine, but I think this would be a good canvas for doing a riveting job on a kit, and I think you could do pretty well. You do get a lot of options in the kit. You get multiple options for open or closed canopies, different canopy types. You get the armored plate in the canopy. You have eventually there's at some point, I imagine, a release down the line for a reconnaissance version because it has the camera and the camera port. You get options for lowered or retracted landing gear, open or closed cowl flaps. You get multiple gun options. I mean, there's quite a few options in this kit. This particular boxing has a very attractive Royal Air Force markings with big shark mouth, as well as Turkish Air Force markings, which is something I hadn't seen before. So pretty interesting. Overall, I'm glad to see this kit has been reissued. I like the plastic. I think if you pay attention to the instructions and really follow the instructions closely, this will actually go together pretty well. I know that some people tend to have issues around the nose area, but again, if you study instructions carefully and dry fit and test fit, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. The instructions are pretty straightforward, and they do their job well. Typical Airfix. But yeah, I like the kit. I'm not afraid to say it. It's not perfect. Like I said, ejector pin markings in some inconvenient places. And if you're not careful and don't pay attention, you can run into fit issues, especially around the nose. But that said, I think it can be built up into a very, very nice replica of the early P40s. And, if you want to go all out doing rivets, you could do some aftermarket stuff, drop the flaps, things like that. I think it'll look really good. And there's a lot of attractive paint schemes for this plane, not just what's provided by Airfix, but aftermarket as well. You can get a lot of cool desert schemes. You have the AVG, Pearl Harbor stuff. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. So anyways, I definitely think this kit is worth checking out if you're into P40s, especially the early P40s. Huge shout out to MRS Hobby Shop for sending us this copy for review, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, everyone.